Hi, I'm Phil from Driftworks and this is my V10 E46 M3 project. So today we've got quite a lot going on. Jay's busy. Starkey, you don't look like you're busy, you look like you're supervising.
Absolutely. You're the boss, isn't it?
You're the boss. Oh yeah, people do think you're the boss sometimes, don't they?
Well, without much you've been here the last few weeks. Yeah. He's even taken your parking space.
I saw that, you cheeky bastard. Yeah. Get out of my parking space.
Give me this power, I'll take your space.
Not having a dirty Volvo pride of place.
Tell me more about your Audi.
Yeah. Just sitting there looking nice. What's up?
Looking like white goods.
White goods, yeah.
White goods.
So, got some nice wheels. Yeah. Did you know that Driftworks sells some wheels?
He's got a lot of wheels.
Do you know that? Yeah, actually. Did you know that Driftworks at the moment is selling? I think we currently doing about 600 wheels a week, are we?
Yeah, about that. 600 wheels.
600?
600 wheels a week is what we're selling.
Hey, when do you get all the cars?
Well, people do wonder, but it's part of the problem is that I don't remember to tell people that we're a shop quite often. So
I think a lot of people think we're a garage and we work on cars, but actually the bulk of the majority, all of our business.
Well, actually, we're not a garage.
Yeah. No, we just work on our own stupid. And yeah, we are a mail order company that sells lots of wheels, suspension, stuff like that. These are my own L1s, Workmeister L1 3-piece wheels off my S15. Quick zoom. God, this camera's not doing a quick zoom, it's doing a slow zoom. There we go. Oh yeah, E30's back. Can't wait to give that a go. But yeah, these are a 18-19 inch stagger set of Workmeister L1 3-piece that are fully awesome, and I've probably done about 20 miles on them, something like that.
If that.
Yeah.
Martin did a round at Silverstone.
Yeah.
And you did a round at Rockingham. Like
Quick check. So what are the sizes, Starkey?
18 by 9 plus 0, I think. And 18 by 11 plus 0.
18 by 9, 0. Yeah. And 19 by 11, 0 as well.
Give or take.
Ish.
Give or take.
Yeah. Check the website when they're uploaded.
Yeah. And yeah, basically there's 2 fronts and 4 rears because drift car, but we'll probably have to sell a pair of rears separately maybe, I don't know.
Are you still all drift?
Yeah, these are but these are like bolt-on for S-bodies with arches?
Yeah. And I'll put a picture up, it looked fully awesome on them. Fully awesome. Anyway, there's more important things going on in the workshop today. You know, V10 related, seeing as that's what this video is about. We've got a guest. Hi Andy. This is Andy from Icefab, and he is currently looking into the quite challenging problem of radiators for our M3.
It's very challenging.
Yeah, so as you can see,
the hardest system I've ever had to.
Really? Oh, how surprising! How surprising! I am bringing something to the table that's the most difficult thing that somebody's ever done.
But it's not impossible. So you guys have proved it with the majority of the hard work already.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, noisy.
Sorry. So yeah, just done. First initial, we're just throwing some ideas around.
Yeah.
Trying to see what will best work out. These V10s have quite a weird system as already standard, where it's essentially one front radiator with 2 passes, but it acts as 2 radiators.
Yeah, I've got one here. I've mentioned it before, but as you can see, 2 inlets, 2 outlets. But actually, if you look at where the bleed points are as well, it's pretty clear that it's 2 completely separate radiators. And they're just sort of packaged together as one in the standard E60 M5. And we need to basically equal that amount of cooling, if not a tiny little bit more. But because I decided that I was going to create the world's most complicated exhaust system, space is a little tight, to say the least.
Yeah, so what we've initially thrown around so far is Porsche style side radiators.
Yeah.
While still effectively having a front radiator as well.
Yeah.
Just to try and get as much capacity in the system as we can.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so we're looking at space available first before we ever start throwing around what we actually can and can't do.
Yeah.
So started off with a bit of card.
Yeah.
Just
It's the best way. Like you know, measurements and it's sort of all sorts of stuff like that. Physically seeing whether something fits is so super important. So.
Yeah, it's easy to just cast a tape measure over something. But.
So we've got the bumper on, so it's a bit hard to see from this angle. But basically, the constraints are that it has to fit sort of below the bumper line there, and this is essentially, again, in similar fashion to the original Radiator, but a much smaller level. This is essentially going to be 2 radiators that are sandwiched together as one. So there's going to be 2 inlets, 2 outlets. You know,
just sketched that rough already.
There we go.
Idea is top and bottom tank, radiator core across there. We're looking at trying to do inlet outlet on the bottom tank.
Yeah.
And then have a vent for a bleeder off the top.
Yeah.
But this is what we're saying, where essentially you could almost consider that as one radiator.
Yeah, and as you can see, that is tiny.
Yeah.
That is why we need the side radiators as well. And I've checked whether we can use something like the 996 GT3 radiators, the side pods, because they're incredibly efficient especially when used alongside the standard GT3 center rad. But those are too big. We're going to have to get very custom on the side ones. So it's kind of going to be 4 small radiators that hopefully, small, extremely complicated radiators that hopefully give us the same sort of cooling as the original E60. So that means the surface area has to be roughly the same, the flow has to be roughly the same, and the fans that we use, because we can't use the almighty powerful E60 M3 fan, the fans also have to be pretty significant. So we're possibly going to use some motorbike radiator fans or something like that, but job one is seeing whether we can physically get the size radiators that we need behind the bumper with wheel clearance. Easy.
The look, to be fair, was quite good because you're saying that's the Porsche centre.
Yeah, it's tiny, isn't it?
And we're already potentially looking at that.
Yeah.
Whether it's achievable, we don't know yet. But
yeah.
It looks
I think
promising.
Roughly that's what I had in mind as to how big the centre one was going to be. Obviously, end tanks take away quite a bit, but physically, I think I am confident. But like you say, this is the most complex radiator system I have been involved in, and yeah, I'm glad you're up for the challenge, mate. I really appreciate it.
No, I'm up for anything like this. I don't do batch radiators.
Yeah.
I don't do big bulk orders or anything like that. Everything I do typically is bespoke.
Yeah.
With the idea of that I go towards the customers, like catering all the customers' needs. So if it is that he's got this engine package with this amount of room available, we will literally make the best package available to fit there that cools that engine the best.
Yeah, looks better, packaged better, and hopefully no compromise, or close to no compromise. So a few hours later, a few hours later, and a bit more cardboard design.
Destroyed your cardboard.
Yeah, well, don't worry, we've got plenty of that here. But yeah, as you can see, we have to.
They're done.
Yeah, that's the radiator. Yeah. This is the detail that we need, because tight is basically word of the day, isn't it?
Very tight. Yeah. Everything conflicts with something else.
Yeah.
But we've had a good understanding with chucking the collector in, the 3.5 dump that goes to the back.
Yeah.
Oil cooler that you need in there, and we also added there's a powered steering somewhere.
Yeah. So the when we first came, I forgot to mention the gigantic oil cooler and the other 2 coolers. These are tiny though, so these will go. That's one of those is for the power steering, and one of those is for the gearbox, and they will fit behind in front of the side rads there quite nicely. We think there's definitely going to be some fettling required to. I think I've got to modify the headlight brackets a little bit, but this is basically the maximum that we can get in here, and we've plunked these cardboard templates over the original radiator, and the combination of core size here is bigger than the combination of core size there, so we're talking the same diameter and the same sort of quality of core, so I have total confidence that it's going to be enough to cool a stupid V10 with a 10:1 exhaust hanging out the front.
Yeah, I do too.
Let's have a quick look at what the actual the flow idea is then, if you want to have a point.
So effectively,
so we've got centre radiator there.
Centre radiator, which is essentially 2 radiators. with this divider down the middle, but it is going to be made out of one complete core.
Yeah.
And then these two side sections then are two twin pass rads.
Yeah.
We were looking around and trying to, because you can't just make a radiator fit, we're also looking at the packaging and the plumbing, and that was what the challenge was. So these are now your two corner ones that are going to sit inside the inner line as the bumper. And what we look like, actually, this is the other side, and what we look like we're going to try and do is fit the inlet outlet in the sides of the end tanks. So it's going to be nice.
So it's basically linked very simply there between the 4 radiators. It's 3 radiators essentially, but they're four radiators.
Radiators, really.
Yeah, so those will link nicely on the bottom there, and then the other. So that's the link between the pipes, and then you've got a vertical one out of the side rads, haven't you, coming up to the...
So what we're going to try to do then is just use AN fittings, and the collector sits somewhat here.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a bit of a nightmare to try and get anything in at the top. It just gets very, very tight. So your idea is then to do 90-degree fittings or whatever works to bring it out and get it to that stat housing with the 4 outlets.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should work as quite a neat package, and then the idea is then Phil and Jay are going to try to sort out the mounting and whatnot. I'm just going to supply just the bare rad for the minute, and then with the fan and shroud package, whatever we can get fit again, and then we'll look at somewhere to put vents in the top of all these, because of course having inlet outlet on the bottom works very well for the packaging, but it doesn't work very well for bleeding situation and whatnot. So yeah,
we're going to have to basically link 4 bleeds. So there'll be something in the top of the end tanks on both the middle rad and both side rads, and then that will go to expansion tanks, and like I say, all be perfect. It'll all be perfect, won't it?
It'll all work out.
Yeah, nice easy job for you, like we said. Wicked. Well, thank you very much for popping over and measuring this all up. It has taken quite a lot of time, but that's what's required on a project like this. It needs the attention to detail.
Exactly, yeah.
Stuff that's not meant to be there is there, and this, I'm pretty confident this will work really nicely, and I've seen Andy's work before. It's really good. So if anybody wants to check out your work, where can they see it?
I'm useless on social media. I need to get better at it. I've just kick-started like an Instagram, and I'm just in the process of doing a Facebook, but generally most people, it's all been word of mouth with my stuff. People know me through that, so I always have my contacts flying around and whatnot if you do need to get in touch with me. But I have just started a YouTube series as well. Plugin.
There we go.
Having a go at doing some how-tos and bits like that. Just all mainly, because I drive and drift as well, but this is going to be mainly inspired just towards the fabrication side of things. So if you are interested, I'm going to try and get some content for Phil as well. I'll throw it over to you.
Thank you.
Welding and fabricating and folding, but yeah, if you want to have a look at that.
Wicked.
I'm useless behind the camera, but
it's all good, Will. I'm still useless behind the camera, so keep it up, mate. Right, that's brilliant. Thanks very much for watching. I'll put links, obviously, to everything to do with Andy, but we'll update you as soon as we have something fabricated, I think. See you next time.
At Driftworks, we've helped over 50,000 happy customers since 2004. Our huge online parts store is simple to use, with superb shipping rates to anywhere in the world, and finance options available for UK customers. We live and breathe wheel fitment, so if you have any questions about your own car or any of our products before placing an order, please drop us an email at shop@driftworks.com or give us a call. Thanks for watching.